Good afternoon, or should I say good evening, everyone, and welcome to Dan E Talks. I'm your host, Dan E. Welcome to the first edition. This is where I do reviews, commentary, and thoughts on all things WWE from Raw, NXT, SmackDown, sometimes 205 Live, and depending the occasion, pay per view. And tonight, less than 24 hours, or should I say 24 hours somewhat, after the Royal Rumble, January 31st, 2021. It was a great show, and while we don't have the crowd to make it better, the actual up close and impersonal crowd to make it personal, I mean, come on, people. We all know good and darn well that those chairs are stuff that those are the same kind of chairs they put on video games to make the video games feel alive. Come on now, we all know that. So I'm talking about having a real audience. The virtual audience thing is kind of cool. It's cute, but it's the real one that makes the difference. And while we don't have the real actual audience to be with us this year, it was still makings for a great show. I was quite curious to see how many people they would allow in the ring at one time because, you know, of the issues with the virus that's going on. Before I go any further, I want to welcome you, and I would like to encourage you that if you enjoyed this video, to like, comment, subscribe so that you can be notified on all things Dan E, your host. Now, without further ado, let's get started on the Royal Rumble last night, 24 hours ago. It was an amazing show. It certainly lived up to the hype. It was great to watch. Love the Royal Rumble comic book tag. It was very awesome. Promoting the event. It was very great. It was very exciting to watch. It lived up to some of its hype, dare I say. I don't know about everybody else, but as a lifelong fan, since I was 7, it definitely lived up to the hype to see. Now, before we go any further, let's start with Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. Now, let me tell you guys something, man. Goldberg is not a 24/7, 365 active wrestler like a lot of the stars you see right now. However, when he shows up, he's the type of person that when he shows up, he can give you a great match in less than 10 minutes. He can give you a great match in 5 minutes. That's how good he is. Now, as a huge fan of wrestlers like The Undertaker, who we like to watch for 20, 30 minutes at a time, he's great to watch. It was Brie Bella that said on Total Divas many years ago, she said The Undertaker is the type of person that will give you 20 minutes and you're going to want 20 minutes more. Goldberg is that type of person where he gives you 5 good minutes, and it was the best 5 minutes. It was awesome. That's the kind of person Goldberg is. And not only that, but when he's wrestling, he will wrestle, he'll make himself look good, and he'll make whoever he is in the ring with look good with him. And it's not the only time we've seen matches that go less than 10 minutes and still be good. Drew McIntyre has had a match with Brock Lesnar. 5 minutes, less than 10 minutes, WrestleMania of last year. Still the best. It was still an awesome match to end day 2. And Triple H said that WrestleMania should be a 2-day event, and as we've heard, it's going to be a 2-day event again this year. But I'm quite curious to see how they're going to get in Raymond Stadium with the virus coming in and with the thing from the UK going on. But the Goldberg Drew match, amazing. Less than 5 minutes. They put on a show that had me on the edge of my seat. And I know I believe, rather, that there are many of you who were on the edge of your seat as well. It was awesome. Both guys brought their best moves. They put their best moves forward. The match started out of the gate. It was nothing too simple. It was nothing like that. It was out of the gate. I think that's what they wanted to see at WrestleMania 20. Because if you watch the match, I personally enjoyed it between Goldberg, Brock, with Stone Cold as the ref. And while everybody was chanting for the referee and barely anyone was into the wrestlers, I guess it's because they want what we saw last night for them to just get in there and go at it. Dare I say, WrestleMania 33 was much better to us. I enjoyed both matches, in my personal opinion. But again, my main point, Goldberg made himself look good as well as Drew McIntyre, and they put on a great match. And at the end of the match, Goldberg has now shown that he respects Drew McIntyre, which is something that Goldberg said Drew did not have a couple of weeks back, but he has earned the respect of Goldberg, and they put on an amazing match. Sometimes 5 minutes is all you need. Can you imagine if everybody was that good in 5 minutes? That would be a long card, but everybody would be happy though. Anyway, to the women's match, the Women's Royal Rumble. I believe this is the fourth Women's Royal Rumble. 18, 19, 20, 20. Yes. And it was great to watch. Bianca Belair is the winner. And I must say, I don't want to sound biased, but I must say that that was great to see her win the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to tell you why it's great. Of course, it is great to see that barriers are being broken. You hear a lot about barriers in the women's wrestling being broken, and she just broke a heck of a barrier. Now, here's the thing. She's the first black woman, African American woman, to win a woman's Royal Rumble, or should I say women's? I want to be proper with my words. She's the first one. And what's so ironic is tonight is February 1st, Black History Month. She just put herself in history for every month, but definitely this month. And not only that, this is also very important for breaking racial barriers as well, especially in a time like this where people are marching for equality and wanting to be treated as equals and be treated as they matter like every other everyday person. So this match was great to see. It broke a lot of barriers. And she is the first woman to win the Royal Rumble match on the women's side on the fourth annual match. And not only that, but this is the first time an African American wrestler has won the Royal Rumble in 21 years. The last winner, everyone's favorite, the great one, The Rock. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. Anyway, back in 2000 in Madison Square Garden. Awesome memories. So this is a great barrier breaker. And here's the thing. I believe that if the time comes someday down the road, some year rather, down the road, Sasha Banks is going to win a Rumble. I believe that's going to happen. Dare I say, I believe all members of the Four Horsewomen, I don't know who's the original Four Horsewomen. Was it the one with Rhonda, Shayna, and a couple of her friends, or was it Sasha, Charlotte, everyone's favorite Becky, and Bayley? Who originated that? Somebody let me know in the comments. I'm going to find the truth later. But the bottom line is, I believe that Sasha's going to win one, but this time Bianca was the first. So, congratulations. That's going to break a lot of barriers and it's going to give us a lot to celebrate. Just like Kofi gave us a lot to celebrate when he won a major championship at a WrestleMania. That year was a lot of great barrier breakers as well with the first ever women's triple threat. But back to this year's Royal Rumble, I believe that someday Sasha's going to win. I believe all members of the Four Horsewomen are going to win, whichever one's the original. But let's just say they are for right now. I believe all members of that crew or that clique are going to win the Royal Rumble in the future. We already have Becky. We already have Charlotte. Bayley and Sasha someday. I believe definitely Sasha will have hers one day. With Bayley, hopefully she'll be a face as opposed to right now being a Raven mixed with Tara from Teen Titans. Because, she's got the hair like Raven and she's a villain like Tara. So just bringing a little humor to the game. But anyway, I believe they're going to win in the future. Just like, ironically, all members of Evolution win. In fact, Ric Flair is the only person who did not win 2 Royal Rumbles. All other members, Randy Orton, 2009 and 2017. Batista, 2005, 2014. Triple H, 2002. In my backyard, might I add, my first hometown, Atlanta, as well as 2016. And speaking of Atlanta, keep that in mind because I'm going to bring up the 2002 Royal Rumble in just a minute. But I believe that they're the future. I think Bianca is the future. If she had stayed in NXT long enough, she probably would have been NXT champion herself. But hey, there are a lot of great wrestlers from NXT who never won the NXT championship, but went to have much higher success in WWE, like ours truly, our favorite, Becky Lynch. Ironically, she won from the same spot that Ric Flair won, the number 3 spot, 1992. So, I believe great things are in store for Bianca, just like I believe that a lot of great things are in store for people like Matt Riddle and Keith Lee. Dijakovic and Mia Yim, I believe they were good already just the way they are. This Retribution angle destroyed them. Darn you, Retribution. You're the ones that we need to be getting Retribution against. It made Ali a little special, but come on, guys. We all know that's Mia Yim. It's like putting Lord Tensai in the ring like we don't know that's Albert. Come on. But anyway, it was a great match. Before I go any, let's go to Roman versus Kevin Owens. I don't remember a lot. I remember a couple of highlights from the 2017 match that they had, but I believe this match here had a lot more flavor to it. From a fan standpoint, there was a piece of us that wanted to see Kevin Owens win. Of course, Kevin's the good guy, and Roman Reigns is the heel, especially with this new head of the table thing. A lot of people wanted to see The Rock come back and fix this family mess that's going on. But hey, it's making Roman better. And dare I say, is it Jay? I think it's Jay. In the words of Chris Tucker from Rush Hour 2, all y'all look alike. But anyway, Jay, I believe, has become much better ever since this angle. I'm not gonna lie. Even though we root against the heels and everything, he's become much better than before. He was still good as a tag team, but much like Big E, he's getting a big push as a singles competitor. And every now and again, you need that singles push to push your career, especially to get you to main event championship status. Stone Cold said, If you're not here to be the main champion, then you shouldn't be here. At least be champion at some point, to his intentional when he did the promo. Anyway, the match was amazing to watch. I remember when Kevin Owens was thrown off the thing again. I think they're going to treat him like Mick Foley. They just love it. They like to throw Mick Foley off of stuff. They like to send Rey Mysterio flying under the bottom rope, and Kevin Owens, they like to treat him as somebody to toss over like a stuntman. He's going to make an excellent stuntman in a movie someday. But anyway, as he was getting ready to go, was anyone else startled when Roman Reigns drove the buggy into Kevin Owens, busting him through the window? I felt a little bit of attitude vibes, if you will. It kind of reminded me somewhat, was it WrestleMania 18? I don't think I saw that at WrestleMania. I think I did. Who knows? But it gave me a lot of attitude vibes when Romans drove that golf cart rather, into Kevin Owens. I was trying to get my words right. It had me startled. I found myself sounding like Jerry Lawler on commentator, because we all know Jerry is famous for getting startled and making his signature sound when he got startled. But the funniest one he made was in 1999 in a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Triple H. And the Stone Cold had threw Triple H onto the table, and the table fell over. And Jerry screamed louder than I ever heard him scream. I can't do the voice like he did, but I never saw him scream that. I never saw him scream that loud ever. It was the night that Stone Cold hung The Undertaker to his own cross symbol. So if you want to find out which one I'm talking about, look that match up. It was funny, especially near the end when Jerry just screamed. It was hilarious. But that match did not disappoint, at least not the match itself. The ending was like, man, Roman won and Kevin didn't. But hey, it was a great match still. There were a lot of great moves. There were a lot of things that put us on the edge of our seats. So I guess, who knows? Maybe they're taking this thing about The Undertaker's comments about not letting the business go too soft to heart. And I'm going to get into the soft thing another time. But for right now, that match was awesome. I almost thought Kevin was going to win when he was tied up, but he shoved the referee and then Paul Heyman, who has a thing for staring at him too much. Does anybody else notice how Paul stares at him like he likes him too much? 5 hours later. But you get my point. But that match was also awesome to watch. Watching Carmella versus Sasha, very interesting. 2 times in a row, I was rooting for her, but I was also hoping that no bottles would get cracked over the ribs again. But anyway, that was a great match. Here's the thing. I have to be honest though. As great as the match was, it had us a little bit interested, but the first one had us really on the edge because she had just came back and Carmella had Sasha's number. And she has in recent weeks had Carmella's number. So it was still great. I think the one from TLC was greater though because there was a lot more over the on the edge of your seat attitude, if you know what I mean. But I'm not saying this match was not good. I'm just saying I think the TLC one was a little bit better, but still good. Don't get it twisted. Last, but certainly not least, the men's Royal Rumble. What can I say? First off, I had a lot of ruthless aggression vibes last night. There were a lot of RA era vibes. We saw the return of Mickie James. We saw the return of Julian Hall, who is still cannot sing my. I got one good ear. See, I'm the type of, if you're a fan like I am, you know I have one good ear. So when you listen to her back in the day, I had to cover the good ear. I'm like, oh God, I got one good ear left. She's gonna blow it out. But it's good to see her back. It's good to see the legends coming back again, especially from that era, because that era was my early childhood, as well as, no, the PG era was my early teen years, but the ruthless aggression was, I'm proud to say, was my childhood. I've been blessed to play the games that everybody says was the better times, such as SmackDown versus Raw 2006. I rented 2007. I owned 2008 before the game stopped working. A lot of people say those were the days where, of course, there was nothing soft about that time, if you know what I mean. But this match was awesome. We saw from the women's side victorious. We saw Mickie James, Julian Ann, and I knew as soon as Julian Ann walked down the ramp that Peyton, no, not Peyton, it was Billie Kay. All y'all sound alike, so Billie Kay was going to have her partner. I knew she was going to have her partner because both of them are what I like to call silly heels. You have this guy is a sadistic heel like Randy Orton and Tommaso Ciampa when he was heel. And then you have, and at times, Triple H. I can't really say The Undertaker from 2002 because one thing that was said by Brother Love without the red makeup is even when they wanted you to hate him, you still somewhat liked him. He was just that good. But anyway, I knew that she was going to work well with her because they're goofy heels. You have your goofy heels, the silly heels, and then you have your high school bully-like heels like Baron Corbin, who no one can stand. And then you have your Randy Ortons and Triple H and Ciampa, who were the sadistic heels. They were the type of people that when you liked them, and when you couldn't stand them, you couldn't stand them. Kind of like CM Punk. But with the men's Royal Rumble, not only did I get a lot of vibes from the women, but the aggression from the men's as well, with the return of Carlito. Carlito, as we all know, was the guy who likes to eat apples and spit on people. For a moment, I thought somebody was going to get spat on. And it took me less than 24 hours to realize they can't do that because of a certain C word that is going around. Mm-mm. Is it possible that you could wrestle with a mask on? Because if it is, I would have did it. Y'all not gonna get me. Mm-mm. But anyway, it was great to see Carlito back. Thank you for not spitting. You would have caused the heebie-jeebies. It was great also seeing the Hurricane return. And when the Hurricane came back, while I felt a lot of Ruthless Aggression era vibes, I also felt a lot like I was watching the Royal Rumble from 2002. And I'm going to tell you why. First and foremost, we were all happy to see when Dominic Mysterio, son of Rey Mysterio, eliminated King Corbin. It was kind of like that shocking elimination in 2002 when Maven eliminated The Undertaker. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not at all comparing Corbin to The Undertaker. That would be like comparing King Kong to Denzel Washington. King Kong ain't got on me. But anyway, you had that, an upset, a shocking but happy, we were glad it happened, elimination. And also the Royal Rumble return of the Hurricane. Now, when the Hurricane tried to double choke slam Big E and Bobby Lashley, I'm like, oh God, it's 2002 all over again. We remember what happened when Stone Cold and Triple H, who were formerly known several months prior as the two-man power trip, were attempted to be double choke slammed by the Hurricane, of course. You'd think that Hurricane would learn his lesson the first time, but he didn't. So, shame on you, Hurricane. Fail me once, but fail me twice. Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, hoping for a different result. But the best talk, Edge and Christian having a reunion. The match, just like Drew McIntyre and Goldberg, the match started off, how does Michael Cole say it? It started off, I will say, with us wide awake. It was a wide awake moment. It wasn't nothing like, okay, come in and collar and elbow tie up. This thing here, it was intense from the get-go. And that's what made it extra interesting. So I really enjoyed that match. I was happy to see Edge at the beginning. When Edge announced it, I knew that Randy Orton had more problems than The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. However, don't sleep on that issue. And if you're in the script, you would tell Randy Orton, don't sleep on that issue, because The Fiend, the Mushroom Head Reject, is coming back soon. Don't know when, don't know where, don't know how. But just like they said for Kane, he's coming! Yes, he is! Yes, yes, yes! Just kidding. That was fun when he used to do that back in the day. I used to crack up, God rest his soul, when Paul Bearer would make those wide-eyed faces. I would crack up. If you had water, you lost it. It was leaking out of your mouth. That's how funny it was when he did it. But anyway, it was a great match, especially near the end. Let me tell you how good you are at being a heel when you are. My brother saw this, and as soon as he heard Seth Rollins' music, we gave the same response we did when Corbin came out. Oh, God. Don't nobody like this man except Corey Graves. Can't stand him, he's back. But in real life, congratulations, he's a father in real life now. That's why he has been absent. But anyway, a lot of shocking returns, and much as it was said in the panel, I wonder how this is going to pay out, because when MVP came back, he came back last year, and even those for a short appearance, he turned around and started the Hurt Business. An interesting angle in Raw's storyline now. What are they going to do with Carlito being back? Or was he just a special appearance? And then we have Kane. Man, he's back. He looks like he's gained a little bit. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he's back, and I'm glad to see him. If he still had one more match left, Him and Damian, that could make for an interesting match. Damian and The Undertaker, that'll make for an interesting match also. Both know how to use their own versions of choke slams. But hey, it was a great match. Glad Edge won. Edge is the fourth, not the third, the fourth to win the Royal Rumble match from the number one spot. Michael Cole said he was the third. He's the fourth. The first one was Shawn Michaels. The second, Rey Mysterio. Edge, and a particular wrestler from 2004. A great Canadian technical wrestler. But due to the way he passed, he's not allowed to be mentioned. But God rest his soul anyway. One of the Radicals. So, it was great to watch. I can't wait to see what happens next. So, I will be back this weekend to give my reviews on Raw, SmackDown, NXT as well. So, this has been Dan E Talks, and I hope to see you again on another edition of this show. God bless. Have a safe week.